Hello and welcome to another episode of Earth911's Sustainability in Your Ear. I'm Mitch Ratcliffe, and we have another innovator interview today. We've got Joe Hand, who is the co-founder of Giki, which is a UK-based application for the iPhone and for Android phones that allows you to shop with information about the sustainability of the products you're looking at on the shelf. Joe, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Hi there. Yeah, I'm really well. Thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Well, thank you. Now, where are you in the UK?
We're in London, actually in Wimbledon. More famous for tennis than for Giki at the moment.
Well, you may change that. Giki is a really interesting app. You can walk into a store, scan a barcode, and get the lowdown on the product that you're looking at. Tell us how do you use the application and where'd this idea come from?
So we aim to make it really simple to use. You download the app in the UK only at the moment, and you scan the barcode of a product, or you can search on a product, and then it shows how many badges a particular product gets. These are UK supermarket products that we focus on at the moment, and how a product performs across indicators for sustainability, health, and ethics.
So the badges are really the keystone of the way that you're helping people change their thinking, and you have healthier options, free from additives, that it's organic, that it's made in the UK. So, and you also have some social impact information, don't you?
That's right. So we look at fair trade, and we also, around the ethical issues, we focus more on animal related issues at the moment. So we're looking at animal welfare for meat and dairy products, and also animal testing for non-food products, shampoos, cosmetics, that kind of thing.
Well, people seem to love it. You've got a rating of 4.7 out of 5 on the iTunes store, and nothing but raves in the reviews. How many people are using the app today? Do you have a general sense of that?
Yeah, so we launched last year in May with the iPhone version, and then the Android version went live in October 2018, and we've had about 27,000 downloads since then. So the numbers are growing all the time. Obviously, we'd love it if everybody in the UK, and then beyond, when we launch it internationally in the future, we're able to use it, because we just want to make it really easy for people to understand the environmental, health, and ethical issues surrounding the products that they buy, so that then we can make informed decisions about what we buy, and make it easy to get the information that lots of people want but can't necessarily access in a way that's free and easy to understand.
Well, certainly we agree with that. It's part of our mission is to expose more about how people's actions are actually influencing the environment. But what you guys have done is really interesting, because you're starting to wrangle all this data. And now you and your husband started the organization. What was the inspiration? What made you look at the supermarket shelf and think there can be more here?
Well, we really were struck by the conflict between people's concern about the environment and how we actually behave on a day-to-day basis, and the challenge that many of us have in terms of aligning what's important to us around environmental impacts and environmental issues, and how we actually behave and how we spend our money. And we felt that there was a real need for easy to understand, free, transparent, independent information for people to know, is this product a low carbon footprint product? How good is this packaging? Can I even recycle it? Often that's not necessarily very clear.
Right.
Does this product contain palm oil in? Is that palm oil sourced sustainably? And if people have that information, then they can make a decision in terms of, okay, I'm fine with this, or no, I actually don't want to buy this product. I don't want to be consuming something with issues that I'm concerned about, and I'll change to another product. And there's no shortage of choice, and there certainly are lots of sustainable foods out there that we can buy. It's just a matter of knowing what they are and finding them.
So are you working? How do you collect your information? Where does it come from, and how do you validate what you're providing the public?
So we draw on lots of different public data sources, and they are a combination of on-pack information, We use government guidelines. We use lots of different scientific and academic pieces of research, and we use company reports. And all of that information is drawn into our database, over which we've built about dozens and dozens of algorithms, which then score particular products across all the relevant issues to that product, and then assess whether or not a product should be awarded a badge. And in terms of validation and ensuring that the information we provide is as accurate as it possibly can be, each badge has its own methodology. So organic, for example, is one of the simpler ones. And for organic products, we simply look on pack for organic certification. So we look for the USDA, US certification, we look for Soil Association, and we look for EU Organic. Around issues like palm oil, that's a much more complicated methodology. There we would read the ingredients list, check that against our list of the most commonly used names for palm oil or palm oil derivatives, and there are hundreds of different names.
Sure. Yeah, synonyms are part of the trick that marketers use.
Yeah, I mean, it's often really tough to know whether a product, particularly a non-food product, even contains palm oil, and to know whether that palm oil's been sourced sustainably is, a big research job. So we look at company reports in terms of the type of palm oil that they procure, and then we connect that parent company to the individual product, and that's the way that we can ascertain whether or not the product has sustainable palm oil in it. So it is, each badge has a different system, and all of that information is on our website.
Now you have a new badge, which is the hero product, and that's the most sustainable or healthy product in the supermarket in that category. How do you arrive at that kind of a judgment?
Yeah, that was a really interesting one, because we launched that in the summer, and we'd originally thought when we first came up with the idea of Giki, thought it was really important that we show information across different issues. So instead of providing one aggregate score of, percentage, say, of this product is, gets 70% or whatever, we thought it's actually much more important to say, to look at the individual issues, because for some people it will be low carbon footprint that's the most important. For other people it might be the packaging, others might be concerned about the palm oil. So we wanted to make it accessible to people who had concerns about lots of different areas, but the feedback that we got was that's really useful, but we also want to know, is this product a really good product? And that was why we came up with the hero badge. And so there are certain criteria that and the hero badge is based on our current badge system. So there are certain badges that a hero badge must get, and then it needs to get a certain number of additional badges to then be awarded the hero badge. So they're basically the higher scoring products, but with certain criteria.
And so how many products are in the database now, and how do you plan to grow, particularly to address the US market?
So we've got 280,000 UK supermarket products in our database at the moment, and that that number grows all the time as new products come on the market, but also users actually put in their own product information. So a couple of thousand products have been input by users, which is great, because then we can share that information with the whole community. In terms of so that database we're always working to grow. In terms of international expansion, we very much hope to be able to expand what Giki does beyond the UK. It's about accessing individual country barcode information and product specific information. So there are some countries where that information is much more easily available than others.
Sure.
And it's working. It's so the system that we've built has been built very much with the aim of being able to build it internationally in the future, requiring individual data sets from different countries.
So you have a fairly small team, 13 people.
We're actually really only 3 of us full time, and the rest of the guys are advisors or volunteers who help us on a project basis.
Well, then it's even more impressive what you've delivered, because this is quite a project for such a small group of people. But then again, that's the times we live in. Now, do you plan to move into North America in the next year or so?
So in terms of our plans for the future, we're actually working on a product that we want to get right in the UK, which will enable people to go beyond food and drink and actually review and reduce their whole environmental impact. So it will enable people to see what their environmental impact is across all the activities that we have control over, like food, obviously, home, travel, services, and and show people ways in which they can reduce it. And once that is working effectively here, because our aim was always that we wanted to help people reduce their environmental impact across, the whole range of our lifestyles. Then we'll be looking at plans as to which product is going to be most relevant to an international market, and how to most effectively provide this information free to people in the US and other countries as well. Because I think, as you say, this is the kind of information that people really want now, in a way that maybe a couple of years wasn't the case.
Moreover, I don't think that 5 or 10 years ago that we would have been able to process the information in a convenient way, and now we can. Obviously we've done this with the recycling information here at Earth911, but the challenge is this environment is evolving so rapidly. More products are becoming, or more companies that make products are becoming aware of their lack of sustainability and starting to change. And on the other hand, you've got all the economic pressures and the trade wars and everything else that we are living through right now, Brexit, disrupting the way that we interact with one another. And so it's nice to see you thinking about this on a global basis. Now, let's get real practical for a minute. What's your favorite Giki badge, and how do you use it to help you shape your daily use of your funds?
So I have to say my badge preference does change over time, but I would say at the moment it's the sustainable palm oil badge and the low carbon footprint one. And the sustainable palm oil one, I actually do. I mean, to be honest, the mind boggles at the complexity of the palm oil issue, and it's also quite a polarizing issue as well.
So do you scan and look for palm oil and use that as basically your yes/no decision help?
Yeah, exactly. Or I scan and look to see if a product has sustainable palm oil. So I would either opt for sustainable palm oil or palm free. And I mean, palm oil is often an indicator for processing as well. So if you go for, food that you cook from scratch, you actually don't find that much palm oil in it. But as soon as you buy processed food, the proportion of products that contain palm oil increases significantly. And then obviously there's all the stuff that we wash with. So shampoos, about 80% of them will contain a palm oil derivative, makeup, face creams, toothpaste.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, and it's particularly those non-food products that I found it in baby milk the other day, and you're always getting surprises. Yeah.
And so can a user set kind of preferences to just say, tell me when I'm looking at something I don't want at all?
So at this stage, we haven't built that functionality within the app. And when we first created it, we thought that would be a really high priority for us. But in fact, the feedback that we've got from our users has not put that very high up the priority list. So I think, in the future, that certainly is a route that we may well go down, because clearly, to the point that for somebody it might be animal welfare, for somebody else it might be packaging, and actually some of the issues are not going to be relevant for everybody.
And how do you do this without charging for it?
So we're a social enterprise, and we always wanted, which is like a B Corp, and we always wanted to provide this information free, because we felt if we were charging for it, that was going to be a real barrier to entry, and we want as many people as possible to be accessing it and using it in as many ways as possible. So far we've been funded by philanthropy and by social impact investment. So in terms of the business model going forward, there are two routes that we're currently exploring, and we expect to be able to pay for the organization as we go forward in the future. And those are firstly around the sale of the product analysis data. And secondly, the new tool that we're building, which is called Giki Zero, which enables you to review and reduce your whole environmental impact. That is something that we think that we will be able to provide to companies as an internal information and behavior change tool to help companies who want to encourage more sustainable behavior internally.
The other thing that, and this is something that we're finding with the recycling side of the problem, is that the companies want to know whether or not their stuff is recyclable and what people are asking to have recycled.
Yeah.
And so being able to project back up to through the supply chain to the companies that make the food or things that we use, the fact that people have expressed these opinions. I'm just not going to buy something with non-sustainable palm oil or that has animal cruelty, is a way of consumers sending a vote into the system.
Exactly, that's so right. And I think sometimes we can feel really helpless as individuals and as consumers, but that is one of the areas, particularly collectively, that we really can send a very strong message. And I think that we're likely to see more of. Certainly, we're already seeing some of the geeky community messaging companies and writing to them or contacting them through social media, asking them to change products that they're providing. And I think with the growing awareness around the gravity of the environmental crisis that we face, I think that is likely to grow.
Well, so Joe, now how can people find Giki and start to use it if they are in the UK, and keep an eye on it if they're here in the US?
So in the UK, you can download the app. It's totally free on either the App Store or on Google Play. For people in the US, we do have particularly those interested in palm oil, we do have a Facebook group called the Palm Oil Audit, which shares information every week around particular areas of the supermarket where palm oil is found, and ideas on what to look out for. So for palm oil, those interested in palm oil, that's a good thing to join globally. And we've also got a newsletter that's available globally as well. So, and that will announce any of our international plans in the future.
Fantastic. Well, Johann, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It was great to talk.
Well, thank you. Folks, that's Johann. She's the co-founder of Giki Badges, and you can visit Giki Badges at Giki Badges, that's GIKI badges.com on the internet to sign up for the newsletter and find out where you can download the app. We'll be back with another innovator interviewer soon. I'm Mitch Ratcliffe, and this is Earth 911. Thanks, folks.